$300 a month. That's it. That's all it takes. If you start at 45, invest $300 a month consistently into the right accounts and earn an average 8% annual return to end up with just over $226,000 by the time you're 65. Not a million, I know. But here's where it gets interesting. Keep that up to age 70, that same $300 monthly habit grows to $358,000. And if you're one of those people who says, Dave, I can swing $500 a month, you're sitting at $595,000 by 65 and knocking on $944,000 by 70. We are one step from $1 million door with a $500 monthly habit. Now here's the question most financial advisors in their glass tower offices don't want you sitting with. If you're 50 years old, making $55,000 a year, and nobody ever showed you how to do this, is it too late? It is not. And I'm going to prove it to you today with real numbers. What I'm going to walk you through is the actual retirement millionaire blueprint for everyday Americans on modest incomes. The same 4 principles that turned a janitor into an $8 million secret. Yes, we're getting to that story in a minute. Adapted for the retirement-specific accounts and retirement-specific timing that actually matter for where you are right now. Let's start where most people start, with the wrong belief. The number one lie the financial media sells people in their 50s and 60s is this: you needed to start at 25. That's the whole discouragement campaign. Pull up any retirement video, and within 90 seconds, they're showing you a chart that proves if you'd only started at 22, you'd have $2 million by now. Thanks. Very helpful. Truly. You didn't start at 22. Nobody watching this is going back to 22. So let's deal with where you actually are. Because here's what the start early crowd conveniently forgets to mention. The IRS actually wants to help you catch up. Once you turn 50, you get something called catch-up contributions. In 2025, the standard 401k contribution limit is $23,500 a year. But if you're 50 or older, you can add an extra $7,500 on top of that, bringing your total to $31,000 a year, entirely tax-deferred. For a traditional IRA, the standard 2025 limit is $7,000 a year, with an additional $1,000 catch-up contribution for those 50 and over. Congress literally wrote extra contribution room into tax law specifically for people starting later. That's not an accident. Use it. Let me explain a 401k from absolute zero, because Wall Street has done a remarkable job making retirement accounts feel complicated on purpose. Here's what it actually is. The government lets you take money out of your paycheck before it gets taxed, drop it into an investment account, let it grow tax-deferred for decades, and only pay taxes when you pull it out in retirement, when your income and your tax bracket will very likely be lower than it is today. If you're making $55,000 a year and you contribute $6,000 into a traditional 401k, you don't pay income tax on that $6,000 this year. If you're in the 22% federal tax bracket, that's $1,320 you keep instead of sending to Washington. That is an immediate 22% return on your money before the market does a single thing. I don't know what financial influencer out there is promising you a 22% guaranteed return, but I can tell you it's not from an investment. It's from a tax code most people ignore. Now add an employer match. If your employer matches 50 cents on the dollar up to 6% of your salary and you earn $55,000, that's a free $1,650 deposited into your retirement account every year just for participating. Free money. I don't care how many YouTube personalities are out there recommending options, strategies, and leveraged ETFs. Nothing in all of investing beats a 50% instantaneous return on your contribution. If you don't have a 401k or your employer doesn't offer one, a Roth IRA is your next best move. The difference from a traditional account? You contribute after-tax dollars. It grows completely tax-free, and you withdraw in retirement without owing the IRS 1 cent. For someone who wants zero tax surprises in retirement, the Roth IRA is genuinely one of the most powerful retirement tools available. Now let me tell you about Ronald Reed, gas station attendant, janitor, never made a high salary, died in 2014 at age 92, and his friends and family discovered he had secretly accumulated a portfolio worth nearly $8 million. No inheritance, no lottery ticket, no cryptocurrency at the right time. What did Ronald Reed actually do? He bought shares in companies he knew and understood, companies that paid dividends, and every single time he received a dividend check, he used it to buy more shares. He never stopped. Over decades, that compounding snowball became $8 million. The term for what Reed was doing is a dividend reinvestment plan, or DRIP, and for retirement investors, it carries a specific power that goes beyond just building wealth. You're not just building a number, you're building a future income stream that doesn't require you to sell anything. Consider something like Vanguard's High Dividend Yield ETF, ticker VYM. It holds over 500 dividend-paying companies, carries an expense ratio of roughly 0.06%, and currently yields around 2.8%. On a $500,000 portfolio in VYM, that yield generates approximately $14,000 a year in dividend income, about $1,167 a month, without liquidating a single share. During your working years, you reinvest every dividend and build your share count. In retirement, you flip that switch and take the income. That's not your only income source in retirement. It's a layer, and layers are everything. Reed's genius wasn't market timing or stock-picking brilliance. It was patience, consistency, and reinvestment. All three are available to you right now. When people hear millionaire retirement, they picture something extravagant. Let me put $1 million in actual retirement income terms, because this changes how you think about the goal. Under the 4% rule, a guideline developed from historical market data suggesting retirees can withdraw 4% of their portfolio annually with a high probability the money lasts 30 years. A $1 million portfolio generates $40,000 a year in withdrawals. That's $3,333 a month. Comfortable? Depends entirely on your expenses. Enough to live on alone? For most people, no. But here's the most important word in retirement planning: alone. Because you are not entering retirement with just a portfolio. You also have Social Security, an asset you have been paying into your entire working life. And the single biggest financial mistake I see people in this audience make is claiming Social Security too early. Social Security is not a government handout. You have been paying into this system every paycheck for decades. It is your money. And the math on when you claim it is some of the most important math in retirement planning. Here's how it works. Your full retirement age is either 66 or 67, depending on when you were born. If your monthly benefit at full retirement age is $2,000 and you claim at 62, the earliest possible age, that benefit is permanently reduced to roughly $1,400 a month. But if you wait until age 70, your benefit grows by 8% for every year you delay past full retirement age. That pushes your monthly benefit to approximately $2,480. Over a 25-year retirement, claiming at 62 generates roughly $420,000 total. Waiting to 70 generates approximately $744,000. That $324,000 difference is the most expensive decision most Americans make without realizing they're making it. Now here's where it all locks together. If you have a modest portfolio, say $400,000 to $600,000, combined with a maximized Social Security benefit, layered with dividend income from a carefully constructed portfolio, you are generating retirement income that a much larger portfolio with the wrong strategy simply cannot match. The accounts matter, the timing matters, and the withdrawal sequence matters enormously. The just buy index funds and hold forever crowd has one answer for everything. Great advice if you're 30. Dangerously incomplete if you're 65 and pulling money out of your portfolio every single month to live on. Here's the risk they never mention. It's called sequence of returns risk. Here's what it means in plain English. If the market drops 30% in the first 2 years of your retirement, while you're simultaneously withdrawing money to pay your bills, you are forced to sell shares at the worst possible time. You're locking in losses that the portfolio never gets to recover from, because unlike a working investor who can buy the dip, you're pulling capital out, not putting it in. A 30-year-old riding out a crash is buying shares on sale. A 65-year-old drawing income in that same crash is selling them at a loss. The practical solution is a bucket strategy. You divide your retirement assets into 3 buckets. Bucket 1 holds 1 to 2 years of living expenses in cash or short-term treasuries, completely shielded from market volatility. Bucket 2 holds 3 to 10 years of moderate income-generating investments, bonds, dividend stocks, CDs. Bucket 3 is your long-term equity growth. When markets drop, you live off Bucket 1 while everything else recovers. You never force sell your equity portfolio at a loss to pay your grocery bill. This is not complicated, but it is something your 24-year-old TikTok finance influencer has genuinely never had to think about, because they've never had to live on a portfolio. Research by Tom Corley, author of Rich Habits, found that 65% of self-made millionaires have at least 3 income streams. 45% have 4, and 29% have 5 or more. For retirees, that structure looks like this in practice. Income stream 1 is Social Security, your lifetime inflation-adjusted annuity that you've already paid for. Income stream 2 is portfolio withdrawals, strategic, tax-efficient draws from your 401k, Roth IRA, or taxable brokerage in the right sequence to minimize your tax burden each year. Income stream 3 is dividend income, passive payments from dividend-paying stocks or ETFs that don't require you to sell a single share. And an optional 4th stream, part-time consulting work, a small rental arrangement, interest from treasury bills or a CD ladder, can dramatically reduce pressure on the portfolio. Here's the math most people miss. Reducing your annual withdrawal need by just $500 a month, $6,000 a year, means your portfolio needs to be $150,000 smaller to sustain the same lifestyle under the 4% rule. A small income stream doesn't just supplement your budget, it protects the equivalent of $150,000 in retirement longevity. I want to be straight with you, the way I would be with someone who walked into my office today. If you're 58 with $20,000 saved, I am not going to promise you $2 million by 65. The math doesn't work, and I won't insult you by pretending it does. But here's what I will tell you. The combination of aggressive catch-up contributions, disciplined Social Security timing, a dividend income layer, a bucket strategy that defends against sequence risk, and tax-efficient withdrawal sequencing can produce a retirement that is far more secure and far more income-rich than you believe is possible today. Ronald Read never made a 6-figure salary. He never had a financial advisor with a fancy office. He never timed the market, played hot sectors, or paid 1.2% in annual fees to a wealth management firm that sent him a birthday card once a year. He just understood that every dollar saved is a dollar compounding. Every reinvested dividend is a share-building future income. And time, even late-stage time, is worth more than almost any financial product Wall Street sells. You have more tools than Ronald Read ever had. You have tax-advantaged accounts. You have catch-up contributions designed specifically for your age group. You have the ability to model your Social Security optimization in ways previous generations couldn't even calculate. And you now have this blueprint. The best time to build a retirement plan was 30 years ago. The second best time is today. If this helped you, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below. Tell me where you're starting from and what your biggest retirement question is. I read them all. I'm Dave Schwab. This is The Real Investor, and I'll see you in the next one.